people conflate Trump with people's overall sense of happiness in the country. I mean, Donald Trump's been a friend of mine for 25 years, and I'm always very open about this on my show. But we'll see whether that's what the country wants. I mean, what the country I think is so exhausted. They're exhausted by the battle, the constant battle, that they may believe that, well, maybe it's time to turn the page if we can get someone who has all Trump's policies, who's not Trump.
Maybe we can turn the page as long as we get someone who has all of Trump's policies, but it's not Trump. What's wrong with Trump, Laura? A friend of 25 years, throwing this guy under the bus like this. Laura Ingraham went on that podcast with Lisa Boothe there to say those things, but she wasn't done. There's a few more moments that she did say here. Maybe it's the fallout, like I said, from this Espionage Act potential violations that he had there. Maybe it's the January 6th hearing where her name keeps popping up from texts where she was trying to tell him to calm the hell down on that day too. I don't know. Either way, it seems like she's ready to turn that page. So there's more of what she had to say there, because maybe his stances even are a problem for her. She said the other problem is that it's really not about Trump, right? This is about the views that Trump now brought to the floor of the Republican Party. They don't like his views. They don't like the fact that he called out the military for their failures, that he wanted to pull us out of Iraq and Afghanistan, that he wanted to treat China and our trade relationship with China in it was smarter, but a much different way than the globalists preferred. And they certainly didn't like the fact that he sent all those illegal immigrants back to Mexico with the Remain in Mexico initiative that he pushed out there. Now, by the way, this sounds like she's completely railing on Trump, and there's no way that she has any support from him. But she went on, of course, throughout all of this to say how, yeah, the fake news media is still coming from those libs, maybe planting some evidence. This stuff isn't really happening the way that you thought it was. Still claiming that he did nothing when it came to the documents, and probably even on the election fraud. Who knows? She still has his back, but she's trying to point out now, in case I need to take a full step back, let me start leaning, is what I think this was. Because Steve Doocy went all the way in, since we're talking about Fox News hosts. She kind of halfway stepped out to prepare herself. Doocy told him, calm down. Let's watch what Doocy had to say.
We just know that right now, given the fact that there's a suggestion, there are a lot of online, apparently very specific threats against very specific agents at the FBI and whatnot. It would be great for everybody to tamp down the rhetoric against the FBI, because the FBI simply was doing what the DOJ asked them to do. With all of these threats going around, it would ultimately be great if the former president, who has always been a great supporter of law enforcement, has posed with 1,000 police departments coast to coast. It would be great if he called for an end to the violent rhetoric against federal law enforcement, and in particular, the FBI that was just doing their job.
No one is for the violence of FBI agents or any of these individuals that are in law enforcement.
Right. If you want to personify that search, look at the Attorney General of the United States. Merrick Garland is the one who has staked his entire reputation on it.
You ever notice the way where Doocy knows that Trump watches Fox and Friends and more? Do you ever notice how whenever they really want to make sure, I feel like Kilmeady's done this too, when they really want to make sure they're pointing almost at the camera saying, hey, Donald, I know you're watching. And he says, end the violent rhetoric. He had a normal sentence structure in that, like as far as his tone and his cadence, and he stopped and said, end the violent rhetoric. It's like he wants to make sure he punches it home for the 4-year-olds at home, to make sure that they pick up on the fact that he's saying, hey bro, this isn't a good look. And as a matter of fact, you're gonna get someone killed within this law enforcement community that you guys say you love so much. Anyway, so apparently that worked, because Donald Trump, right after that, let's look at this on graphic 2. Not long after Doocy's remarks, Trump put out a statement saying that the temperature, quote, has to be brought down after the search on August 8th. Wow, Doocy's working. He went on to say this: the country is in a very dangerous position. There's a tremendous anger like I've never seen before, all over the scams and this new one. Years of scams and the witch hunts, and now this is what he said. He also went on to say, if there's anything that we can do to help, I and my people would certainly be willing to do. Who is his people? Lastly, Jessica, because it seems like Donald Trump has turned the page, listens to Doocy tell him to tone down that rhetoric. He wasn't done talking. And you guys let me know if this is toning down the rhetoric. There's never been a time like this where law enforcement has been used to break into the house of a former president of the United States. And there's a tremendous anger in the country at a level never before seen, other than during very perilous times. And then they break into a president's house, he said this again, and sneak attack where it was totally, no one ever thought a thing like this would happen. Trump went on to suggest that the FBI could have planted anything that they wanted. People are so angry what's taking place, whatever we can do to help. He went back to whatever we can do to help after he said, I and my people are gonna help you guys out and we're gonna calm down this rhetoric. You know what, the FBI keeps breaking into my house? Did you know that they're probably planted evidence? There's no way this is on the up and up. Which one is it, Jessica? I can't figure this guy out. People's heads are spinning.
Yeah, I like that we're talking about the actual substance of the issue here, because for too long, this conversation has been about, is the FBI good or bad? Should we defund it? Was the left saying we should defund the FBI before the right and for the right reasons, instead of talking about what was actually found in Trump's home? Is there an FBI informant in Trump's inner circle? Talking about what he was to do with the declassified documents, or the classified documents that he had, not declassified, let's be very clear. And the nuclear codes, right? I think if this was just about him taking some boxes out of the White House, we would have seen them act much sooner after those boxes were taken out. I really think this is about some conspiracy for another attempted coup. And that's very scary. And I think that that's probably why we have people like Peter Doocy and Laura Ingraham making serious statements about this, trying to reel in their folks. And what Laura Ingraham says here is so close to a coherent thought. It's so close. She's like, hey, Donald Trump was criticizing, the foreign policy establishment in the United States and their intentions. And the globalists are also wrong on this, right? It's almost so close to saying the United States has made mistakes by intervening in other countries abroad, and Donald Trump pointed this out. Nope, she won't go that far. But she does say very different things on podcasts than on air. And I think we need to just give every Fox host a podcast, because they really kind of spill all. If you get me on a podcast, I'm like, exploitation in this country is unreal and blah, blah, blah. But if you get Laura Ingraham, she kind of, says something completely different from what she would ever say on air.
I wonder if it's the writers, producers, and just the direction she needs to go, or it's a plan. Like I said, I think you always have to make sure that you're at least on the right side of something when it comes, especially you've backed up this guy for so long. You're like, I want to make sure in case these charges and things that really come out are that damning that I can no longer defend him, I got to get out. But if I can still defend him, I still have my foot in the door. I mean, it's a career play. I'll put it that way.